Bitcoin is right now creating a huge CME gap of about 3%. And you should not be getting fooled right here, because if we have a look in towards the history of Bitcoin price action, you can be seeing that these CME gaps tend to get filled very quickly after we actually open it. And for the past 4 times, this has exactly happened. Well, we need to be discussing this exactly alongside with our economic data that we will be getting early next week. A super rare indicator is also right now flashing, which is right now indicating that volatility is absolutely imminent and a huge move is coming, and many more things that we need to be discussing in this update video. So having a look in towards the imminent short term, right here we can still be seeing we are still trading in towards the downtrend. So technically speaking, we still want to be getting bearish on the Bitcoin price. Now, of course, because of this downtrend, I am still not longing the Bitcoin market, and I am still rather waiting on the sidelines before we are actually going to be getting some kind of signals that we are going to be breaking this downtrend in towards an uptrend once again. So that has been my strategy for quite a while right now, because of course, for the longer term trend, well, Bitcoin is starting to look very good with this cup and handle formation, with this bull flag formation, and as well as this falling wedge formation right here. And at the same time, we are hitting most important support right now. Previously this resistance, right now returning in towards support. We are hitting this one exactly right there with this inverse head and shoulders breakout pattern retest towards the upside. Of course, we got this breakout right here, and we are right now retesting this breakout. At the same time, of course, retesting our EMA ribbons to the upside, because of course we also broke our EMA ribbons towards the upside, and we are right now retesting it. Now, of course, this is looking very good and all for the Bitcoin longer term charts, but what we really want to be having a look in towards is, of course, in the shorter term, are we going to be once again retracing towards the upside to be filling our CME gap we will be creating right here, or are we headed even lower? Now, for that, I actually want to be having a look in towards this economic data that we will be getting released on June the 13th, but also on June the 14th. And I've been warning you guys about this economic data that will be getting released already for quite a few days on this channel, because usually around what you can be seeing during this economic data is that this data will usually get front run, just like you can be seeing, for example, over here. A few days before we actually got our economic data, we already saw this pump happening. And also, just like for example right here, we also already saw this pump happening towards the upside. Just like over here, we also already saw this pump happening. So once again, this will be happening on June the 13th. And I do expect, if this data will turn out to be quite bullish, well, we are going to be seeing the market being front run already by insiders, of course. So that is one thing to keep in mind. And of course, there is still a very good way to be profiting from of this. So it will be very important to keep your eyes out on the charts, to watch this economic data, which I will be sharing as soon as possible on my Twitter profile and also on my YouTube channel. So be sure to be following me on Twitter and stay up to date on my YouTube profile as well. As well as I will be live streaming this FOMC meeting, because usually a lot of the volatility will be happening during the FOMC meeting. That is one of the most important events that will be happening in about 3 days. And then having a look into towards the forecast of these numbers that we will be getting on the June of 13th, well, this inflation rate really looks quite bullish, because the previous inflation rate was 4.9% and the consensus right now is 4.1% and the TE forecast is 4.3%. So this will of course be quite a substantial decline, which we of course do want to be seeing. Now, in the end of the day, we do want to be getting this inflation rate all the way down towards the 2%. So it is nowhere close, but still we are good on our way towards the 2% mark. Now then, actually having a look in towards our core inflation rate, which will also be a very important metric that we want to be having a look in towards. Well, this one looks a bit more bearish actually, because it is still very high. And even if we have a look in towards the consensus and the TE forecast, well, the core inflation rate will only get decreased by about 0.2% or maybe even 0.1%. So that is not a very substantial decline, which we do not want to be seeing. and which is actually quite bearish. So it will be very interesting to see this getting unfold in the Bitcoin price action. Another very interesting thing is, of course, that in about 15 hours, we will be closing our weekly candle. And what we can be seeing is that this weekly candle is currently sitting below the 200 weekly moving average. And this would mean if we are going to be closing our weekly candle in about 15 hours, well, we are going to be closing our weekly candle below the 200 weekly moving average. And of course, this would be very bearish for the Bitcoin price. We actually do not want to be seeing a push towards the downside getting created on the weekly candle close. So keep your eyes out on this. Now one thing to, of course, keep in mind is that right there, we also saw a fake out being created. And if we are once again going to be closing below, well, this would not necessarily mean that we are going to be crashing towards the downside, because of course, right here, this has also happened. We saw this fake out towards the upside. So, well, I'm still quite bearish on the very short term Bitcoin price action right here, because we are still trading in this downtrend, but this is about to turn around anytime soon, because of all of these charts that are right now all pointing towards the fact that we are going to be seeing a very big bounce anytime soon being created. Now, I think, of course, the catalyst will be this economic data that we will be getting, and we have talked extensively about in this video. So let's see if we will be getting that. And if you do want to be staying up to date about every single market development right now happening, well, be sure to be following me on Twitter and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And guys, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in another update video tomorrow morning. And guys, bye bye.